Wake Up with Jim and Sab is exclusively on Spotify.
And if you want to start your own podcast, you can check out anchor.fm.
If you love the pod and you want to support us, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Also, you can tag us on Instagram and Twitter at Wake Up with Jim and Sab.
Yay! Welcome to the Wake Up with Jim and Sab podcast! Welcome to the Wake Up with Jim and Sab, walang kwentang podcast. Ay, wala pala si Tonet. Pero, nag-guest na namin siya before. But tonight we have Juan Miguel Severo in the house.
Hi!
Yes! I don't know why parang nag-radio mode ako just now. Bakit parang naano ako? Because, I mean, this has been in the works for a very long time. Sobrang daming nag-request.
Oh my God, guys! Nakatulog ako, no?
Alam mo, hindi ko naman dapat i-reveal yun, pero go.
Okay, guys. So, sa mga nakikinig, rescheduled na to kasi nung totoo schedule namin nakatulog ako. Sabi ko, bakit hindi ako nagising? Tapos, nagising ako late na, diba? Tapos nag-message ako sa inyo. Tapos, alam nyo, tapos nung nakatulog ako ulit, nagising ako ng 7 a.m. So, 7 a.m. ko na-set yung alarm. Hindi 7 p.m. Ayun, sorry.
Oh, well, that's okay. It's fine. At least, you know, it all worked out in the end. You're here.
Well, ngayon, Yege, during this whole quarantine thing, no? Ano na yung sleeping, working schedule mo?
Oh my God, sobrang erratic ng ko. As in, so may umabot sa point na natutulog ako ng may araw na, like 8 a.m. Tapos, na-readjust siya na nakakatulog ako ng 10 a.m. na. So, ang first meal of the day ko technically ay dinner. Ganong katoyo. Tapos ngayon, well, after nung reschedule natin, so starting last week, ang nangyayari ay nakakatulog ako ng maaga. Tapos, nagigising din ako ng maaga.
So, medyo nag-normalize. Well, what was happening?
Oo, medyo nag-normalize. Parang nausod hanggang nag-normalize.
What was happening nung natutulog ka ng 10 a.m.?
Yeah, creative breakdown!
Because are you writing something right now? I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I am.
Can you reveal anything about it? Just a
Hindi
snippet.
hindi pa siya nagi-green light.
Okay.
Pero hindi pa siya nagi-green light dahil wala pa kaming sponsors. Also, the government response to the pandemic makes it impossible almost for us to
do anything.
Actually, yun yung gusto kong tanungin. Ngayon, with this whole, may mga bubble, di ba? Parang that's what's happening. May mga bubble.
In the filmmaking industry.
Bubble sa filmmaking
parang
industry.
Kumbaga,
akala ko yung bubble ng gobyerno.
Baboy ang tawag doon.
Hindi, pero sa kasi kapag meron kasing IGA yung Interguild Alliance, mga taga-pelikula na gumawa ng sarili nila makatao at mas maayos na guidelines sa kung paano mag-shoot during the pandemic.
Okay.
So kailangan sundin yun ng lahat ng mga production. Tapos yung klase kasi ng guidelines na kailangan sundin, yung mga safety protocols. Like tipong, I remember for gaya sa pelikula last year, like mga 60% of our initial budget ang mapupunta sa
safety protocols.
Sa protocols.
Oh, wow. But I wouldn't know because I binge watched that and I really enjoyed it. I really did.
Thank you.
Thank you for making that. And that was kind of, alam ko it was based on your experience.
Yes. I was an architecture student who wanted to shift to film, and I kind of became housemates with a college crush. So
that's the gist of the show. For those who haven't seen the series, Gaya sa Pelikula, it's available on Netflix now, diba? That's where I watched it. So it's about this. Ikaw nga mag-pitch, ikaw nga elevator pitch. Go. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Gaya sa Pelikula is a romantic comedy series about a college student who wants to shift to film, tapos and was forced to cohabitate with an upperclassman dahil wala siyang pambayad ng renta at yung upperclassman naman ay humahanap ng matutuluyan dahil nagtatago siya sa kanyang homophobic family. Ayun.
It's very, it was, ang ganda ng dialogue. It was very...
Thank you!
Yeah, well, nga naman, no, that's your doing. Yeah, I thought it was very sweet and not typical at all, and I really enjoyed it. So,
Salamat.
yeah.
Salamat.
Is it anything? Is it far from Gaya sa Pelikula what you're writing now, or is it kind of in the same realm?
Actually, it's the sequel.
Oh
wow!
Sorry, kinilig ako. Oh my gosh, sobrang love ko sila Pangs. They're two artists. Artista sila na dalawa pareho silang Pangilinan yung last name.
Yes.
Yan.
The joke nga is anak nila si Kaki.
Si Kaki Pangilinan.
Kaki calls them Papa and Dada.
Wow, kailan na green light to?
Hindi pa na nga nag-green light.
Hindi.
Itong season 2 nga, hindi siya nag-green light. Pero kasi, kailangan ko na siyang isulat para kung sakali, matuloy-tuloy na yung paghanap ng pondo para sa kanya or
Yes.
makita na ng mga tao kung feasible ba siyang gawin, ganyan.
Ganun ba? So, let's say, for renewal kayo, mauuna yung, parang kumbaga, it's creative first bago parang business, kaya ba? Feasible?
Oo, kasi the reason then why kasi we shot Gaya sa Pelikula yung season 1 na napanood mo ng 9 days lang.
9 days lang yun. Wow.
Yeah, we shot the entire series ng 9 days lang. And the reason we could do it was because tapos na yung script and prior to going to the location, matagal nang binabasa ng mga artista yung script. So, para pagdating doon, parang hindi na nila masyadong kailangang hanapin pa yung mga characters kasi nga ang tagal na nilang binasa yung script. So, kailangan, gusto ko sana, ganun din yung mangyari kapag nag-season 2 kami.
Okay, ito. Kasi marami kasi kaming listeners na creatives. So, I would love for you to be able to share with us. Ano ba yung process, even pre-pandemic ng, yun nga, pagsusulat ng pelikula? Because it's like a big feat. Itong, Gaya sa Pelikula is a series. Is it any different than writing a movie? Like, what's the difference? How long did it take you to write it? How long was the pre-prod for that?
Alam mo, looking back, parang akala ko, syempre nung sinusulat ko siya, parang ang tagal-tagal ko nang sinusulat siya. Pero, wait lang. March, April. Hindi. Start ako April. April, May, June, July, August. So, 5 months kong sinulat yung series. At kung tutuusin, medyo maikli na yun. Kung tutuusin, medyo maikli na yun. 5 months yung series ko sinulat. Yung pelikula, ideally, yung pelikula na sinulat ko, parang mas mabilis ko siyang nasulat. Pero kasi based na rin siya sa isang existing work ko, sa isang play. Pero mas mahirap talaga, mas nahihirapan akong magsulat ng pelikula kasi kailangan mong i-sustain yung attention ng audience. Right? Kasi parang sa isang pelikula, ang pelikula kasi isa yung arc niya, pagkatapos meron lang siyang isang climax. Tapos, di ba, bababa na siya. As opposed to a series na parang bawat episode dapat merong
may ganong factor. Creativity-wise, nag-ano ka ba? Like, do you fall under the romantic image of writing na yun nga yung nagyoyosi,
10 a.m. nga siya natulog.
Sa coffee shop.
I don't admit it, but yeah. As in, nakakairita, sobrang cliche. Buti nga yung nilipatan kong bahay, meron na siyang malaking balcony. Yung nilipatan kong bahay. So, ako yung tipo na like nakikinig ako ng music, nakikinig lang ako ng music. Tapos naglalakad-lakad kapag nabablock. Tapos habang nagyoyosi. Tapos like minamouth ko yung mga dialogue na naiisip ko. Tapos yung sa Gaya sa Pelikula, halimbawa, di ba meron dong prom scene na nagsasayaw sila?
Yes.
Like when I heard Chelly's song, nakita ko na yung dalawang characters na nagsasayaw. Tapos, mami, habang sinusulat ko yung dance scene na yun, kasi mismo yung choreography kasi ay nakasinulat, ginawa kong script. Hindi siya nakalagay lang sa script na they dance, it's romantic. Hindi siya ganun. As in, yung mismong part, bawat beats nung sayaw, sinulat ko sa script. Tapos, as in, sumasayaw ako mag-isa. Para akong tanga sa kwarto. Nag-waltz ako mag-isa sa kwarto.
Wow, that is so
Tapos,
art.
Sa ako siya sinulat. Oo, medyo, ano siya, patayan siya. Pero yeah, ganon. Tapos, ang lagi kong importante sa akin kapag nung magsusulat ay, well, definitely, ito dahil sinabi mo na yung mga nakikinig na creatives, ay lagi na a creative should consume their craft. Diba? Like, you cannot be a musician and be choosy sa, parang, kung musician ka, for example, ta sobrang picky mo sa kung ano lang yung klase ng music yung pakikinggan mo, parang, mas malaki yung chance na may emulate mo kung ano lang yung kung sino lang yung pinakikinggan mo. As opposed to kung sobrang lawak ng horizons mo bilang artist, makakakuha ka ng sobrang daming impluensya mula sa iba't ibang artists, and that will result to you finding your own unique voice. Kasi despite having all these influences, meron kang, 'di ba? Lalabas at lalabas yung sarili mong boses.
Yes.
Parang, 'di ba?
Para siyang baking, nalalagyan mo ng konting salt para lumabas yung sweetness.
Yeah.
Baker ka, girl? Baker?
Nakakatawa, pero kasi ang lagi kong example dito ay si Sarah Geronimo, kasi di ba dati kaboses niya lang si Celine Dion?
Oo.
Tapos naging kaboses niya si Beyonce. Tapos hanggang sa habang tumatagal, si boses Sarah Geronimo na siya.
Oo nga.
So parang
So,
feeling ko
sa'yo?
ganun din siya kapag writer ka, na you should expose yourself to the works of a lot of writers too, para mahanap mo yung sarili mong boses.
Ako yung parang
that's good
one
advice.
quote that I've really clung on to is, we are just products of our failure to imitate.
Yeah. Oh my God, who said that? Wait lang, parang
Hindi ko nga maalala
Conan O'Brien ba yan?
Hindi ko
Sa isang commencement speech?
I don't remember. But
That is.
pero sobrang tumatak sa akin yun. I mean, I guess, kasi tama ka Ako naman, agree ako sa'yo doon. Lalo na sa aspect ng musician, no? Na parang, syempre, kung ito lang yung papakinggan mo, ang mangyayari talaga, magtutunog kang ganon. You're gonna sound like a poor man's version of this. As opposed to, kung nakikinig ka ng, purely jazz ang pinapakinggan mo, and then biglang nakinig ka ng Sarah Geronimo, di ba? Magiging lalalan.
Magkakaroon ng sampling.
Pero,
Totoo yan.
so, ako, in relation dun sa writing naman, gusto ko tanungin, like, is there one book, parang, let's say, for example, like, ano yung one book that changed your life? Na parang, nung nabasa mo to, sabi mo, ay shit, ang banu ko pala. Parang, ang pangit pala ang layo pa pala ng kung saan ako. Parang kailangan, kasi ganun ako nung first time ko narinig, nung narinig ko yung Radiohead or narinig ko yung Sgt. Pepper ng Beatles. Like, grabe, may ganito palang music. Like, parang basura ako, parang ganun.
What really made me fall in love with, writing nung college ako. Nung college ako, parang second wave na to ng pagkahumaling ko sa pagsusulat. Ay dalawa Isang mga tula ni Jerry Gracio, yung Apok. Uy, nandito siya. Galing. Within reach ko lang siya.
Nice.
Apocryphos. Pagkatapos, sa mga nobela naman, Norwegian Wood ni Murakami. Kasi I was 17 when I read Norwegian Wood. Pagkatapos, sobrang mahal na mahal ko siya. Pero, pwede bang magbura rito?
Okay lang. Go.
Ako naman.
Alam niyo
Please.
yung libro na, sa putang ina, ayoko na magsulat. Yung diba, may gano'n kasi, putang ina, ba't ko pa pala ginagawa? Hindi ko naman yung gano'n ko, mami, ay... Diba, gets nyo ba yun?
Yeah.
Sobra.
Yung parang, sino ba ako? Bakit ko to, anong sumapi sa akin para maisip na kaya ko yung mga ginagawa nila? Yung gano'n ko, Unbearable Lightness of Being ni Kundera. Kasi, nung binasa ko yung Unbearable Lightness of Being, equal parts cerebral and emotional experience siya. Na, kasi parang, ako kasi emotive akong tao Obviously yata. Obvious naman yata yun. Emotive akong tao. pero hindi ko kayang mapag-juggle as well as he did. Yung utak at saka yung puso sa panulat. So, ayun. Gigil na gigil ako ron kasi hindi ko alam kung paano ko gagawin yun.
What would be your advice to the kids who feel that way? Like, how do you fight that? Kasi that happens, diba? Na parang, bakit pa gagawin to? Ang dami-daming magaling. Parang, ba't pa ako sasali?
Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Guys, Google nyo yung imposter. Sa mga nakikinig, i-Google nyo yung imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Tapos,
grabe, may ganun ako, Gege.
diba?
Matagal na
Pero
akong
ito
may
yung
ganun.
thing the idea is, sa imposter syndrome is, the more that you achieve, the bigger your imposter syndrome becomes. Because, kasi kapag wala ka pang napapatunayan, mayabang ka lang, feeling mo, kaya mo to. Pero, yung imposter syndrome ay sign siya na yes, you have been consuming your craft. You have been exposing yourself to the work of others. You've been comparing, and therefore, mas tumataas yung
Standards.
diba, yung standards mo sa sarili mo at mas pagbubutihan mo dahil meron kang pinaniniwalaan na dapat mong ma-achieve at marating na level ng pagiging mahusay. So, ganun lang yung imposter syndrome. At usually, basta meron ako kasing feeling parati na, oh my God, malapit na nila, madalas ko naman na-experience yung, shit, malapit na nilang ma-discover na pinepeki ko lang ang lahat. Diba?
Yeah.
Malapit na nilang ma-discover na tae akong manunulat. Anong gagawin
Or
ko?
parang
So,
I don't deserve this,
Recognition.
so gagalingan mo siya lang sa susunod. Wait lang, pero may babasahin ako sa inyong quote.
Go.
May babasahin ako sa inyong quote, tapos feeling ko magugustuhan nyo to. Dito nakuha actually ni Sarah Bareilles ang title ng album niya na The Blessed Unrest. Alam niyo ba yung album ni Sarah Bareilles na The Blessed Unrest?
Hindi.
Anyway, yun yung may
Hindi kami nag-react.
yun yung may brave, basta may brave na kanta.
Yung...
I wanna see you be brave. Yun.
Sorry.
Layo ata.
Mali yung kinata ko. Okay, go.
Basta yun. Anyway, as in, kapag feeling ko parate na cripple ako by my imposter syndrome, I always go back to this quote. And kapag may performance sa theater, binabasa ko rin yung quote na to bago sumalang. Anyway, it goes like this. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. If you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not yours to determine how good it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is ever pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any time. There is only a queer divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. That's by Martha Graham.
Wow, grabe na goosebumps ako doon. That is so, that is beautiful.
Well,
Diba? No,
in delivery.
there is no
Delivery, no?
satisfaction.
Spoken word
whatever.
artist talaga, oh.
Gusto ko yung there is only a queer divine dissatisfaction
Yes.
because sobrang
That is
totoo
true.
ng queer
Parang
divine dissatisfaction.
you're never satisfied. You just, from what I read rin before, correct me if I'm wrong, with imposter syndrome is parang because sometimes it comes so easily to you, what you're doing. So you question na parang bakit di ko pinaghihirapan? Bakit ganun?
Oh my God, totoo yan,
Ganun siya.
totoo yan.
So parang feeling mo, wait, dapat pinaghihirapan ko, dapat talagang sobrang, pero, so you start questioning yourself na parang, ano ba, tama ba yung ginagawa ko? Kasi ba't ganun? But yeah, parang yung nabasa ko, it says nga na that's because it comes naturally to you. It doesn't mean that you know, it's a skill.
Ang mahirap dun sa ganyang tendency, na nangyayari rin sa akin every once in a while, I forget to, na nangyayari sa akin, kapag nangyayari siya sa akin, basically what we do when we question why we're not working as hard, ganyan, for example, ang nangyayari ay we're doing our instincts disservice, feeling ko. Kasi instinct comes into play talaga by a lot sa art. Na kasi when we over intellectualize the things that we do, 'di ba? Like for example, gagawa ka ba ng dissertation kung bakit ganito yung riffs ni John Mayer, for example, sa bridge ng ganitong kanta or whatever. 'Di ba kapag ini-over intellectualize natin, nawawala yung magic. Nawawala yung magic. So sometimes you just have to ride the wave and admit na sometimes it's not you. Kaya ako parate, lagi kong, when I say it's not you, kapag sinabi ko na it's not you, hindi ko sinasabi na hindi ko yung sumulat niyan. Pero basically, may admission lang ako na our genius, we are not geniuses. We just have geniuses na every once in a while ay dumadalaw. And when that genius is with us, we can really do magic with our art. Pero hindi siya parati dumarating. Tama. At kasi 'di ba, genius is genie. Galing siya sa genie. Pareho sila ng ugat ng root word. Yung genius and genie. So basically, it's a guardian spirit that's there with you when you're creating. So you don't say you're a genius. I would ever claim that I'm a genius, but every once in a while I have a genius with me. And
pero ako genius talaga ako. Check out.
Kala ko sasabihin mo I am a genie.
Sana lang, di ba? Ang dami kong, anak ko, mag-wish kayo sa akin ngayon na. Ang dami kong gustong tuparin na hiling ng mga Pilipino.
pero maganda, ang ganda na. And before I forget, ang ganda nung binasa mo by, who is that again? Martha?
Martha Graham.
Akala ko Sarah,
She's a legendary dancer.
Oh.
Actually, when you were saying the lines, I go, wow, nasa kanta to?
Sarah Bareilles.
No, it's a quote by a dancer na nabasa ni Sarah Bareilles, which led her to na para kaya niya pinlock yung Blessed Unrest. At
ang ganda. Kasi I just remember that part na yung kung hindi mo ilabas, that will never exist because it's only you that will do it a certain way. That's beautiful. That's so good. And dapat wag mo ipagkait yan sa mundo. Ganda. Magawa tayong kanta, Jim.
Ako, Gege, ang question ko, at what point, kasi syempre, like, kami, nasa banda scene kami, you are also in the art scene, you're in writing, spoken word. Ang question and a singer, ang question ko is, at what point in your creative journey did the heart and mind have a serious conversation? Na parang, pucha, hindi na pwedeng ganito. Parang, kumari, let's say, it's the parang, how do I say this? Like, kumari, the moment na, shit, tumugtog kami sa Route 196. Ang ganda, may mga tao, nag-enjoy sila, kumanta sila. Pero after that, parang, kumari, hindi na pala yun sapat. Kasi, parang, I have to find a day job. Parang ganon. Ano yung ganon moment mo na?
Thankfully, maaga siyang nangyari sa akin. Kasi nagsimula ako na may day job muna bago ko ginawa yung spoken word.
As what? What was your day job, if you don't mind? No?
I was a freelance writer.
Okay.
Brace yourselves. So I was a freelance writer. Tapos, I write product descriptions ng mga cabinets.
Oh, okay.
Tapos, ano pa ba yung iba ko nagta-transcribe ako ng mga interviews, nag-ghostwrite ako ng ilang mga old white men na gumagawa ng memoirs nila umano. Pagkatapos, ang favorite ko na racket ay I was a writer for a porn site.
Whoa!
Like captioning? Description?
No.
Titles?
Kasi kailangan, alam niyo yung SEO?
Yes. Parang how to search.
So choosing
search engine optimization. Search engine optimization.
Clickbait.
Ano yung king?
So kailangan nila na yung mga videos para mas malaki yung chance na na lumabas sila sa top ng Google search results. Kailangan na update yung mga page na yun by way of comments. So, mami, pinagawa nila ako ng 20 different profiles. Ako ang sinaunang troll, okay?
Oh my God.
Pinagawa nila ako ng 20 different profiles. Magkakaiba silang mga tao, magkakaiba sila ng characters, magkakaiba sila ng fetishes, magkakaiba sila ng edad. Tapos meron sila kanyang-kanyang bias ng porn star. Tapos nag-uusap minsan sila sa comment section. Tapos all of those are me.
Oh my God.
Ano yung mga
It's good practice for
ano yung mga
writing
best
dialogue.
mga parang were you polite? Were your characters polite?
Or
Ano ba
pervy
sila?
ba? Pervy?
Ano?
Iba-iba. Like meron akong middle-aged white man na sobrang hilig sa mga twinks or yung mga payat na bata na ano. Tapos sobrang creepy niya na magsulat. Tapos kapag nagko-comment siya laging all caps. Tapos meron akong tangang Asian character na naghahanap ng love for some reason doon sa porn site. Na gusto niya maging boyfriend, yung boyfriend niya maging kamukha nitong ni Stu ng Sean Cody, for example. Mga ganong stuff. Ganon. Tapos pinag-usap-usap din sila minsan.
Oh my God.
Tapos nakakabaliw siya na maniwala kahit sa hindi, na-desensitize ako sa sex dahil sa trabaho na yan. Like at first, parang it was so exciting for me not to think na parang, oh my God, I'm getting paid watching porn. Kasi of course, for me to be able to like really, di ba?
Comment
parang
properly.
magkaroon ng maayos ng comment, ay kailangan kong panoorin yung mga So at nung una, parang struggle siya kasi, oh my God, hindi ako makapagtrabaho dahil nag-iinit ako. So, di ba? Pero mami, after a little over a month working for that porn site, wala na ako nararamdaman. I started feeling nothing. Like, dicks do not impress me anymore.
Nakakatawa na pinag-iisip. Talagang pinapanood mo at nagko-comment ka. Di ba typically ang mga comments naman doon is just like, what? Like, I would assume na parang mga yum, mga ganon.
Pero Sab, I'm a writer/actor.
Totoo.
So,
Yes.
kinakareer
May
ko siya
standards
as a
ka. Yes.
As a writer-actor, kasi kailangan talaga consistent sa akin yung
Sobrang
Oh my
ganda. Wait,
God.
okay, where were we? We were talking about your day job. And then you got...
Yun yung day job ko.
Oh,
Oo.
tapos tsaka
So anyway, oh my God, ang tagal na pala. So yun yung day job ko. Tapos, when I found spoken word, parang when people started booking me sa mga gigs, tapos feeling ko kasi parang I felt like this is not a real art form. Why would they pay me for this? And somehow, and apparently organizers felt the same way. So, binibigyan lang nila ako ng mga tokens, binibigyan lang nila ako ng mga gift cards, binigyan ako ng... Umabot hanggang ang turning point ay binigyan nila ako ng Starbucks card. Tapos pagtingin ko sa coin purse ko, 4 pesos lang yung pera ko. Tapos wala namang Starbucks sa Malabon. So, na-realize ko na meron akong Starbucks card, pero wala akong pambili ng coffee ko brown.
Ang ganda.
Tapos, naisip ko, bakit ako umabot sa ganitong punto? Kasi may mga tinanggihan akong writing jobs dahil pupunta ako sa gig na to. Dahil masyado ako nag-enjoy sa spoken word eh. Hanggang sa hindi ko na-sense na hindi. Tapos, after that, nag-start na ako maningil.
Yun yung turning point.
Tapos yun yung sinasabi ko sa utak ko na kasi yung oras na dapat nilalaan ko sa pagtatrabaho ay dito ko ibinibigay. So, ibig sabihin, kumbaga, my talent is for free but my time is not.
Yeah.
So, bayaran na lang nila yung oras ko na dapat nagtatrabaho.
That's good. I'm curious lang kasi you actually really, I would say you paved the way for spoken word for our generation, I think. Well,
Yeah.
parang I feel like, diba, you don't hear
Yeah.
of, I mean, now there are a lot.
Ako definitely.
There are
Kasi
a lot now, pero
parang-
nung panahong yun,
Oh.
how did you even get bookings? How did you get
nalaman
put
ko
yourself
nga,
out there?
actually, when I kept seeing your name, ko, oh shit, may ganitong eksena na pala. You know, that's where, anyway, go.
Thank you.
Kwento mo naman. No?
Kwento mo.
Oo. Like, paano nangyari yun? How did you start booking gigs? When was your first show? Were you doing it like sa org, sa school? Ano ba?
Because, okay, sa there's this small cafe sa malapit sa CCP owned by Howie Severino and his wife, si Mami Ipat Luna. Tapos, meron, every third Saturday of the month, may open mic doon. Tapos, around the time, medyo dumarating na sa atin dahil sa YouTube, yung mga slam poetry videos, deaf poetry jam, etc., etc., na from the US. So, may napapanood na siya. And slowly, it's gaining, nagkakaroon na siya ng mga fans. Tapos, after, akala ko talaga walang ganong eksena rito sa Pilipinas until I auditioned using a spoken word poem that I wrote. And then, sinabihan ako dun nung nagpa-audition na merong spoken word open mic night sa Sev's Cafe sa CCP, malapit sa CCP, every third Saturday of the month, pumunta ka ron. And then, Mami, 20 lang kami parati na tao ron. Tapos kung sino yung audience, sila rin yung magpa-perform. Ganun lang na. Tapos, for some reason, parami yung pumupunta. Siguro, dala na rin ng hugot culture up until naimbitahan namin sa mga schools. Tapos yung isa kong video during my performance sa isang school, nag-viral siya. And yun na. Doon ako parang, okay, pwede na talaga ako maningil. Yay.
Yeah. Pero grabe, ang galing rin talaga ng delivery mo talaga. Talagang actor talaga. In fair.
Kasi kaya ako nag-spoken word dahil hindi ako nakakast sa mga auditions sa pinupunta.
I heard about that nga. Na you were aspiring, I mean, kumbaga, yun talaga yung parang kumbaga goal mo in the beginning, di ba?
Frustrated actor talaga ako nun. Kaya pang MMK yung mga una kong pyesa. Nung nakakaarte na ako, parang okay, kaya ko nang mas mag-mellow down sa mga performances.
Can you tell us about like your early auditions na you said na you weren't getting? May mga ka ba? Embarrassing moments or cringe?
Oh my God. Like, nasa final callback ako ng, hindi naman natuloy yung production na to, pero nasa final callback ako ng Spring Awakening sa Ateneo. Hindi ko na maalala kung anong taon. Pero, Mami, nagtatai ako nung dance callback na. So tumawid ako ng Ateneo tapos jumebs ako sa Starbucks yata or sa Coffee Bean. Ano ba mas Coffee Bean.
Grabe talaga yung Starbucks sa buhay mo, no?
Coffee Bean.
Daming
Oo nga.
Nag-intertwine.
Anyway, basta hindi na ako bumalik. Tapos basta hindi na ako bumalik dun sa audition. Kasi naisip ko rin, bakit mo kailangan lumayo? May mga CR naman sa Ateneo. Alam mo, gumagawa ka lang ng rason para hindi mo. Yun yung kasi ayun yung pinakamalalang atake. Isa yun sa pinakamalala na atake ng imposter syndrome ko yata.
Akala ko sa tiyan.
Atake sa tiyan.
Kasi feeling ko parang yung tiyan ko sinasabotahe ako. Or baka maybe I willed it.
Yeah.
Na magkaganon yung tiyan ko dahil takot nga akong sumayaw sa harap ng mga atenista. But yeah. Yun yung hindi ko makalimutan na. Tas ang nakakahiya pa sa akin nun, parang nakipag-hook up ako after. So parang, really, Gege, inuna mo yung tite bago yung teatro. So, hindi ako proud sa sarili ko nun, pero wala. Ginawang coping mechanism.
So,
hindi ako proud dun. Pero yun, guys, huwag nyo gagawin yun. Tuloy nyo yung audition kahit mapahiya kayo. Huwag kayong tumakbo sa tawag ng laman.
That's funny.
Ako, may question ako. So, parang at what point sa career mo, na feel mo, oh my God, eto na, I have to compromise my art. Yung first, I'm sure kasi that's a constant battle. Pero ano yung first? Yung talagang,
you don't have to be specific if you're gonna get in trouble.
Parang talagang putang inang baboy, ganun.
Hindi naman, okay, to be fair, hindi naman baboy. Proud naman ako dito sa project na to. Pero meron lang isang sobrang liit na detalye na hindi ko mapatawad yung sarili ko. Okay, so, I said yes to a Bear Brand commercial. I love it. I'm still very proud of it. Okay. I mean, kasi alam ko naman yung proud ako nun sa trabaho at saka proud ako sa kung ano yung naging effect niya dun sa mga nakapanood sa kanya. Kasi it was for Labor Day. So nakalaan siya para sa mga manggagawa. So it addresses kung gano'n na sila kapagod, ganyan-ganyan. Tas basically encouraging to keeping on, ganyan. Tapos, so doon sa commercial na yun, makikita mo ako sa iba't ibang kung saan ng mga manggagawa. Like, makikita mo ako sa abangan ng sasakayan ng jeep, makikita mo ako sa construction, makikita mo. Tapos nandun lang ako, naka-mic stand, tapos spoken word, habang may mga nagtatrabaho sa paligid ko. Ganun siya. Okay naman. Kaso, meron daw isang shot na pinush nila na nagsasala ako ng semento habang tumutula.
Bakit?
Mami, as in, nagsasala ako ng semento habang tumutula.
Wait, nasa YouTube to, no?
I think I watched this. I think I've seen this. Like, viral to, though.
Yeah. Malala niya. Kasi may banners ako nun sa YouTube. So parang yung banner sa YouTube lang, look ma, I made it. Tapos pag pinanood mo yung part na nagsasala ako ng semento habang tumutula, parang, oh, my art. Parang I know naman na spoken word poetry is performance poetry. Pero wala, alam mo yun, hindi ko creative choice yung tumula abang nagsasala ng semento.
Kasi gets ko yung nag-spoken word ka with a mic stand in the middle of the hustle and bustle. Pero how was it kaya sa storyboard walang nakapansin na parang, bigla nandiyan na siya.
Mami, gusto talaga nila. So imagine, nakatingin ako sa gilid, tapos gumaganyan-ganyan yung balikat, tumutula ako. Tapos dahil totoong may ginagawa ron sa pinag-shootan namin, talagang naka-hard hat din ako habang nagsasala ng semento.
I can't wait to watch that again. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, as we talked about all things about being a creative locally, I wanted to know your thoughts since you are very vocal about what's happening in the country. And thank you for doing that, Gege, first of all. I think you have really influenced a lot of people to be, I wanna see you be brave.
Ayun, no? Alam mo na yung kanta.
Say what you... Anyway, so...
Sorry,
naalala ko. Okay, go. So, I wanna know lang, ano tingin mong... What do you think... Kasi medyo, alam naman natin yung industriya for the creatives pre-pandemic. I mean, diba? Nakita ko rin yung tweet mo before na inofferan ka na ng gig ng spoken word. Tapos...
Oh my God! Yung tapos, libre sa mall?
Parang bibigyan ka ng styrofoam ng pagkain.
Yeah. That's so weird.
So, may mga ganong treatment talaga. Sa tingin nila, it's not real work.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, what are your thoughts on now? Kasi, kamusta yung creatives ngayon? Do you think, since everything is more digital now, is it shifting to our advantage? What do you think?
Ang dali kasi, alam mo, wait lang.
Sige lang, go lang.
parang feeling ko minsan double-edged sword yung social media.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi, on one hand, it na-democratize yung means of sharing art, diba? Parang you can be a freelance artist and upload your art on Twitter at kaya niyang maka thousands and thousands of retweets and meron akong kilalang artist na local na pinost na napansin na ng mga Nina Dua Lipa yung artworks niya, ganyan, kasi he does portraits of different female artists. So, it's easier to put your work out there, definitely. But also, yung danger din doon, I feel, na kailangan natin bantayan is, una, nagiging hotbed for plagiarism ang Twitter. Na ang dami na magli-lift na lang ng image, tapos i-alter ng konti and then call it theirs.
Yes.
So for our visual artists, yun yung kinatatakot ko.
Mm-mm.
Pero at the same time, maganda rin because kapag nakakakuha sila ng mas ayos na exposure, nakakakuha rin sila ng client.
Mm-mm.
So alam mo,
Double-edged
talagang
na
kailangan
talaga.
balansehin. And pagdating naman sa sa mga manunulat, wala eh. Distraction lang sa amin ng Twitter. Hindi, pero kung pagtingin sa mga artists, at least ang pinaka okay na masasabi ko ay na mas nandiyan na yung diskusyon, na the discourse is out there, mas maraming nakakapag-participate, and people now are, parang hindi, yung mga artists now ay hindi na basta-basta papayag na to push them aside or kung dito i-lowball sila ng kung sino-sinong kumpanya.
Mhm.
Dahil napag-uusap, mas open na rin yung mga tao ngayon, mga artists ngayon sa pag-uusap ng kung ano ba yung makatarungan na rate, ganyan.
Yes.
Or ano ba yung hindi nila dapat natanggapin.
Mm-mm.
So, ayun, sa tingin ko naman, mas okay na. Pero I also acknowledge the fact that my ability to say that it's better still comes from a very privileged place because parang there are still artists who practice a certain craft na hindi masyadong palatable para sa mainstream, na that aren't being given what they're due. I feel.
I agree.
Because they do not conform masyado sa kung anong hinihingi sa kanila minsan. Yes, your art will always find an audience, but is that audience a paying audience? And sometimes it's okay if you do things for art, then do things for art. But gaano kalaking oras ang mawawala sa'yo ng pagtatrabaho sa day job mo? Kapag ganong kalaking oras na dapat ginugugol mo sa paggawa ng sining ang mawawala sa'yo ng dahil sa day job mo.
Yes.
Yung day job mo na kaya mo lang tinanggap dahil hindi ka binabayaran sa sining mo. Ayun.
That's a good question to ask. Yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah, 'di ba? Parang feeling ko parate it's the safest way talaga is to have another job naman talaga aside bukod dun sa sining mo. Pero ano nga yung tanong, Sab? Sorry na.
No. I guess the point is that you just have to wait nga for the genius to come. If it's gonna come, then maybe you can create something and
yeah. Pero I do feel too na if you choose to call yourself a writer, you cannot just rely on the genius.
You have to practice.
You cannot just rely on inspiration. Yeah, you still have to do it.
There's one thing you said
you have to write every day. You have to write every day. Kasi nga para siyang sport.
Yes. It's para siyang muscle na pinapractice.
Ano yung tawag sa... Sorry.
And you know how halimbawa sa gig na may mga araw na parang hindi ka naman nagkamali pero you weren't just feeling it. Nung nandun ka pa. Pero meron naman yung sobrang sarap. Parang feeling ko yun yung counterpart niya eh. Na parang, pero tutugtug ka pa rin. Hindi mo siya nafe-feel nung araw na yun, pero tinutugtug mo pa rin siya. That's the same way with writers. And sometimes, you don't, especially if the food on the table depends on it, a writer doesn't always have the privilege of waiting for an inspiration. We don't have a choice but to pull the inspiration closer to us, and the only way to pull the inspiration closer to us is by way of writing talaga.
Yeah. Ganda. Grabe, ang daming sound bites nito ha, pang promo. Thank you, Gege. I guess before we end, may ano ka ba?
Well, ako siguro, okay lang. Ako siguro ang tanong ko, okay. Ano ang advice mo sa mga creatives ngayon na kunwari, wala talaga silang idea about the business side of it, 'di ba? Usually that comes along when you work, 'di ba? Doon mo magigets na ay ganun pala ang may copywriting pala sa ahensya, may ganyan pala, may pwede pala maging art director, may ganyan. Pero like, and especially if they go into freelance agad, let's say after college or whatever, anong advice mo in learning how to value your craft, value yourself in terms of money?
Trying to monetize your art.
Yeah,
How do you even decide how to
ano yung
price
baseline
it?
mo?
No?
Parang ganon. Especially let's say, lang, I'm a writer, I like writing, or I like making films or whatever. But I have no network. Di ba? Parang
Where do you start?
mag-network
I think you should join groups.
Pero yun, pero aside from that, ikaw, anong siguro advice mo? Like, parang, where should they begin?
Ako talaga,
Like, especially
sa
if
akin
very
talaga,
niche yung craft mo, no?
ako talaga finding your tribe, finding peers and being open sa mga peers mo. Like, kailangan nating i-normalize yung pag-uusap tungkol sa rate. Feeling ko.
Yeah.
Kailangan natin i-normalize yung pag-uusap tungkol sa rate, tungkol sa kung ano yung tingin nating sapat at dapat nating nakukuha. And so bali ang first step para sa mga bagong creatives, una is to put yourself out there. Diba? Put yourself out there muna to make sure na, kasi your art will always find an audience naman. Even yung kahit na ang general consensus sa isang work of art nga ay swangit siya, like alam mo yun, kahit 23% lang yun sa Rotten Tomatoes, may 23% pa rin na nagustuhan siya. So your art will always find an audience, but for it to find its audience, you have to put it out there muna, and for you to find your community, you have to be visible. You have to, kahit hindi sa marami, parang kahit na kaunting tao lang, pero definitely kailangan mong ng mga tao who practice the same craft as you.
I completely agree.
'Di ba? Kasi they will make you
agree.
sharper too.
Ang mahirap rin kasi ang tendency ng creative is to overthink eh. Lalo na parang iisipin mo na parang pag ilabas ko to, baka hindi siya pasok sa marketing strategy na sanang mas maganda pa, na hindi ko pa, kailangan ko pang tapusin tong series na to, tapos ilabas ko siya ng sabay-sabay na. Okay lang na naman ganun, but it's good to think about things, but I don't think you should overthink it because nothing will ever happen, di ba?
Pero hindi ko alam tsaka hindi ko alam kung sa akin lang to, Sab, pero feeling ko, yung marketing your art should come later on na.
Yes.
The priority is getting better at it first.
Create.
Create and get better at it first. And then when you find people na who practice the same craft as you, and you're getting your work is getting traction, start the conversation, start asking questions, ano ba yung marapat na nakukuha ko?
Tama.
Also, kaya ko rin sinasabi parati na it's important to find peers, it's important to find your contemporaries, because ako kasi hindi ako naniniwala masyado sa mentor-mentee, Ayun, kasi meron kasi siyang tendency na pagpapatron. Alam mo yun, parang ginugroom ka ng isang mas nakatatandang artist to become his successor, or lalo na yung mga lalaki na na matatandang artist. Hilig nila sa ganyan. Na sila ang successor mo, ganyan. So, groom ka nila to be better. Ayoko ng mentor-mentee kasi para sa akin talaga, ang pinaka-effective na mentor ay hindi yung nasa taas na tapos i-aim mo na maging siya. Para sa akin, ang importante na ang mas masaya na maging mentor o yung mga kasabay mong nag-grow doon sa industriya. Kasi you will definitely learn from each other while you are growing up within the scene.
That's so nice. Do you want to give a shout out to your tribe?
Yeah. Yung gaya sa pelikula, Sab, ay yung director, assistant director, production designer, isang producer, we all go way back sa college pa.
Wow. So talagang
we really grew up doon sa film industry.
That must have been a lot of fun making.
Yeah,
JP Habak, no? I'm Drunk I Love You. I love
JP,
that movie.
org mate ko siya nung college.
Andun ka na diba sa I'm Drunk I Love You?
Oo nga pala.
Oh my God, pinakanta nila ako sa harap, tapos hindi man lang, sa galit ako rin. Kasi sabi ko, grabe some friend hindi mo lang, pinakita mo nga ako, hindi mo man lang ako finocus. Wala na close up, hindi pa naka-focus.
Yun yung ano,
You
diba?
really go way back.
Yun yung sa La Union, diba?
Hindi. Sa
yung
bar
sa
pa
start.
sa start.
Sa start.
Diba?
Mm.
Oo.
Sa start.
Ako yung kumakanta ko yun sa opening scene.
Saya. I wanna watch that movie.
Sa 70s Bistro.
Thanks, Gege.
Thank you.
Sobrang saya na to.
We had so much fun
Thank
talking to you.
you.
Grabe.
Ako
Ang
rin,
saya.
enjoy ko.
Ang saya. Para akong para tayong
Crash course.
crash course. That's I think this should be like we'll call it a master class.
Hindi, and ako excited ako double pod date.
Mag-pod.
Diba? Sila ni Tonet.
Ay, maganda yun ha. And then let's talk about podcasting. That would
We
be
can talk
fun.
about
how we started yung failures
oh my God,
natin.
para tayong Buffy and Angel crossover.
David
Ang tanda ng Buffy and
Borans.
Angel, sorry, alam nyo ba yun?
Oo naman,
Yes.
David Borans. David
diba?
Borans and si SMG.
Ano po ba yung mga nagko-crossover ng mga palabas? Basta yun, Buffy and Angel na lang.
Mr. Peanut Butter and BoJack Horseman.
Ah,
Thanks, Gege.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Jim.
you,
Thank you,
super.
Sarah.
Thanks, guys.